Now that we just took a closer look at the 21 main problems of knowledge, which are pieces 1 to 21, let's take a closer look at the two groups of needs we must satisfy, which are pieces 22 to 35. There are 12 essential needs based on the law of cause and effect in our anatomy, and that's where we have air, water, food, sunshine, exercise, sleep, thoughts, feelings, community, meaning we're all one. We have a need to be free of things outside our control. We need to procreate, and we need an environment to sustain us. And then we have two additional temporary needs because we made mistakes long ago and we're still making mistakes. You see, life used to be very simple long ago before the fall of mankind, which is when we made the first big mistake. In fact, we were playing in paradise and we only had 3 boxes and 4 portals. But when we made a mistake and took that brilliant brain of ours and applied it to something we needed, we altered that need. We slid down into Plato's cave, and now we start our journey off with false knowledge, and we make mistakes, and we've got all these problems that are 100% within our control. So life used to be very simple, and now it seems to be complicated, but it's not if you understand where all the boxes and pieces and portals are at. In fact, if you really want to make it simple, there's only 2 portals we have to be concerned with, and that's where we have these 21 problems of knowledge, or 19 of them. You see, 2 problems of knowledge are in the first stage of knowledge. The knowledge we're missing in the plus A box of knowledge, that's outside of our circle, but it used to be inside of our circle at one time, so it's designated with a circle with a dotted line. But our problem is we got false knowledge in its place. We're in the negative A box of false knowledge. We superimpose this into our belief system. And remember, we cannot learn anything when we think we already know. That's our biggest obstacle right there, is the false knowledge. And to help you understand this, we got 12 sources of false knowledge, and even 7 wellness factors affect our ability to find and apply the knowledge we need. So the first portal we must go through, the first doorway we must go through, is to break through the negative A plus A doorway, where we have 19 obstacles, or 12 sources of false knowledge, and 7 wellness factors. But then we also have pieces within pieces. So we can go on and on about where all these pieces are at, or we can just make it simple. Get rid of piece 54.5. That's where we test an idea as time it's come. That's where we do the first of my 3-step process. Now, you don't have to start with my first step. Remember, there are 3 ways to correct 5 mistakes, but remember, most people are not willing to do 2 of the 3 ways, so we can get everyone's attention and reach the tipping point. And this is important to understand. Well, if we don't reach the tipping point, things will never change. So we've got to get enough of us to do something that we can do to get everyone's attention. That's where my first step comes into play. If you don't want to do that, don't worry about it. You can take the second step, which is what most people are doing. Or you could even do what used to be the best preparation for a better way of life. Remember, there's pieces 41, 42, and 43. Those are the 3 ways to correct the 5 mistakes we're making. And the problem with 2 of these 3 ways, once again, is that most people are not willing to do it so that we'll get enough people's attention. I should just keep saying this over and over and over and over. Things will never change unless we reach the tipping point. This is not an easy thing to do because most of us are gliding with the stream of the crowd, and psychologically it's hard to break away from the herd. That's why the herd mentality, piece number 14, is a problem of knowledge. And remember, the easiest way to deal with all of these problems of knowledge is simply to test an idea as time has come. And then that's not always going to be enough, because now we have these 2 additional temporary needs. So pieces 22 to 33 are the 12 essential needs. That's the first group of needs that we have to satisfy based on the law of cause and effect in our anatomy. But then we have another group of needs that we must satisfy that's based on the ripple effect and the damage we've done to ourselves, society, and the environment. Now we have this other group of needs we must satisfy. Once again, life was simple. 3 boxes, 4 portals. Now we got 6 boxes, 18 portals, and 2 groups of needs. We only had 1 group of need initially. But once we made a mistake and got kicked out of the garden, so to speak, where we now have problems within our control. Remember, my definition of paradise is not the one a lot of people think of when they think of paradise. This is nothing magical about it. This is attainable. All we have to do is simply satisfy our needs. The problem, we don't have that knowledge. The problem is, if we find it, we're not willing to do it. At least 2 of the 3 ways to correct the 5 mistakes. That's why the very first of my 3-step process is an idea whose time has come. It's stronger than all the armies in the world, because the only solution to solve our problems is a bottom-up solution. I've said it before and I have to say it again. It's very difficult to wrap your brain around what I'm saying until you do it. And then if we can't get enough people to do it, things will never change. All of us have to do this and get reconnected to play our role, because we are only as strong as our weakest link. And right now we have too many weak links. And this goes back to what I believe is the most common disease and the most dangerous disease that's ever afflicted mankind since the fall of mankind. And I coined this condition hypoheliosis. Now there's hypoheliosis A and hypoheliosis B. Hypoheliosis A is on an individual level, and hypoheliosis B is on a collective level. How does that work? Well, hypoheliosis is an abnormally low biophoton level. Our biophotons are too low, so we don't feel one with one another. This is why we have a dark side to our behavior. We lost one of our senses. The first mistake destroys the biophotons. We lose one of our senses. We have an abnormally low biophoton level, hypoheliosis A, and since everyone is disconnected, we have hypoheliosis B. Now we can individually get reconnected and get rid of hypoheliosis A, but guess what? You still got a hypoheliosis B. No man is an island. The individual cannot escape the collective. We all play a role when it comes to solving problems that are within our control. And we are only as strong as our weakest link. So the first wave of heroes, the trim tabs to society, are going to help us reach the tipping point. Once we get the rudder on the rudder to turn the rudder, we can turn our ship away from the iceberg. And then the second wave of heroes will jump on board, and it's going to be exciting then, because then things are going to change so fast we won't even believe it. Once we get enough people's attention, once 1 out of 10 of us are doing this, and everybody knows someone doing it, you'd be a fool not to do it too. And then more and more people do it. Again, once we reach the critical mass, the tipping point, the 100th monkey, things speed up so fast we can't even comprehend it. And then the third wave of heroes will finally have to come into play. Once the second wave of heroes comes in, then we'll have the majority, and then we'll have only one law for a golden age. The more laws there are, the more corruption there is, so it only makes sense for a golden age, only one law. What's that law? A minimal biophoton level. Do you have to be 100% perfect? I don't know. We have meters to test this, and it's in our own best interest to do the best we can. Every other animal does this. Why aren't we? We don't have the knowledge. We don't know what we're missing. That's why the first step is so important. It gives us a chance to see what we're missing, and it does so 10 times faster than any of the other ways. So we can make this simple or we can make this complicated. We can get reconnected or we can get distracted. So the easiest thing to do for any one of us is simply do something we've never done before. Stop gliding with the stream of the crowd. Rise above the ideas of the time. Climb the unexplored mountain. Do something you've never done before so you can experience something that you desperately need to experience. You'll have an aha moment within a very short period of time. And that's when you come to the realization that none of these systems out there that have been trying to solve our problems will ever be able to solve our problems, because the solution to every problem that lies 100% within their control lies within each one of us. That's why we are the heroes. So the second wave of heroes, we're going to make it a law, and for whatever reason, if you don't have the ability or the willingness to do it, we'll help you. We'll put you in an institution, lock you up, and give you everything you need. Now that may sound like torture right now, but wouldn't it be nice to have someone do all this for you? Wouldn't it be great? And you won't be locked up and being tortured. You'll be able to do almost anything you want to do. You'll be able to play all day long instead of having to work all day long. Oh, how horrible can that be? I've got to be institutionalized because I can't raise my biophoton levels up. Don't have the willpower. Well, we're going to put you in a place where there's no way you can cheat. Don't have the ability. I'm kind of a little slow. How do I make that again? No problem. We'll do it for you. And once enough of us do it, I hate to even project it into what we need to do down the road, because things are going to change so fast. And now all these brilliant minds that are working for people to make money, which is an illusion, will now be used to make the world better. So it's hard to conceive just how great this world is going to be once we wake up and realize we're the enemy. We're the enemy because we're doing it to ourselves, and we're the enemy because the sickest of us wants to keep us sick. It's how almost everything is. Even a society like the Cancer Society, the bylaws in the Cancer Society guarantees they'll never find a cure for cancer. The bylaw says once you find a cure, you got to dismantle. Well, every system ever created to solve a problem doesn't want to die once it's created, so it perpetuates the problem. That's why we got to stop looking for systems to solve problems that are self-inflicted. That's why we're the heroes. So the third wave of heroes will complete the connection. The second wave will help us reach the majority and enact one law to do away with all the rest of them, and we'll start cooperating and sharing the abundance. We'll understand the more we give, the more we receive. But none of that's going to happen unless the trim tabs get going and get this message out there. So not everyone has the spiritual ears to hear this message. Not everyone has a spiritual inclination to say, okay, my soul's telling me this is something I got to do. I'm going to accept this mission. I'm going to prove to myself that this really does work. And then you continue on the hero's journey. You gather allies, you deal with the naysayers, but most importantly, you share this message. So I sure do thank y'all for taking the time to make it this far with me. Please help me share this message. Give it a thumbs up. Share it. This needs to go viral. Everything I'm suggesting right now is for the taking for free. This isn't about making money. It's about doing away with money. We've got the wrong mentality. As long as we have the wrong mentality, things will never change either. Why do we have the wrong mentality? Hypo-Heliosis. We're disconnected. We have an exchange mentality where we compete for resources on an abundant planet, when we should cooperate and share the abundance this planet has to offer. We would understand the more we give, the more we receive once we bump up our biophotons, because we'll realize that now that you're one with everything, there's only one way to make your life better. And that is to make everything around you better. And that's how we're all going to be spending our day as the true guardians that we're supposed to be on this planet. We're a disgrace to this cosmos. This is one of the few planets that have the ability to have true paradise. And we're not coming up to our potential. But damn it all to hell, that can change just like that. And I want to see it before I leave this planet. So let's make it happen. Help me share this message. I've only just begun with this message. I've been sitting on it for a long time, trying to work all the kinks out of it, and then trying to figure out how can I tell this message so that you don't shut off your frontal lobe, which is how we run to denial. Yes, I know this is a difficult message, and change can be a little scary, but we can make this really simple, or we can make it really complicated. We can get reconnected, or we can get distracted. We can take the very first step in my three-step process, or we can keep watching what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you more pieces. I'm going to give you more knowledge, because with a strong enough why, you can bury any how. Now, I know a lot of personalities don't care about the whys, so for you guys, it's going to give you more energy. Every personality has a reason to do this, and it doesn't have to be about money. It's going to make your life better on every level. And I'll never get tired of saying this. When you guys do this, you're in for a treat.